All right, folks, settle down. Let's get started. Here we go. All of you should have a packet in front of you. I'll wait till you folks are ready. Your packet may look a little different. If you don't have one, make sure you can get one passed down. I know there's plenty on the tables. If yours might look a little different, be a little thicker or thinner, but they all should have this sheet that says the eye step by step. This was taken from a book that I have in the library over here. There's numerous different step-by-step ways to draw an eye. You can go on YouTube and find out how to draw an eye. Everyone's a little different. Every artist approaches it differently. I like this method, but I'm not going to exactly do this. And by the way, I'm going to draw you an eye today, and you're going to follow me. And I'm going to take it to about what I consider 75%. In other words, I'm not going to sit here for an hour and draw you a photorealistic eye. That would be tricky for some of you. For some of you, you want that. You need that. You want to take your eyes to the next level. So I'll help you individually, or you can, be self-directed and get on YouTube and go slow and make that perfect eye. But you have some work to do in here today too, so let's get to it. Grab your pencil. And I'm going to actually skip by, step number 1 here. I guess it's important to know your eye is somewhat like a football, but it's not so mathematical and symmetrical. So I'm actually going to skip by step 2, where they're trying to show you that it's perhaps a bit slanted on these edges. And I'm going to go right to step 4. I think you guys are ready for that. Let's zoom in. In step 4, it's showing how to draw a right eye. Because the tear duct is in that area. So let's make this curve here. Let's go up and just make a little curved part. That's how we're going to start. And then we're going to make the other part of the eye that rolls over this way. So we're just sort of looking at that top line in step 4. Another way to oversimplify it is to think about it this way. It's kind of steeper here and a little bit longer here. Obviously your eye's not pointed like that, but if you think of it like a mountain or hill, that's what we're trying to capture. All right, back to step 4. Let's make like a little C shape in here where the tear duct might be. Now let's carry that over a little bit more so it's kind of straight across. And then we'll come down and make a big curve here. And I'm going to make it go up a little quicker here in the corner. So even my lines look a little bit different than the number 4, and your eye shape is certainly going to be a little bit different. This is just a general way to make an eye, somebody's eye. We can go ahead and kind of close this off, make it round here. Usually you'll see some funny things happening in there. The flesh in there might be round and smooth, or it might have a little bit of wrinkles to it. It might have a little glisten where it's catching some light. You'll have to look at your own and take a look. What I'd like to do next is actually move right to step 7. And we're going to draw the iris. That's the outer part, of the eye. The nice thing is it's a circle. It's a perfect circle. That's why eyes, I find, generally you folks just handle pretty well. It's fairly easy. But don't do this. We'll just draw a couple simple eyes up here. Here's what I often see is people will go like this and make lines that kind of go straight down. Or they make them, almost like there was a tall oval in here. But you want your eyes to be circular. So if you had a tracer with you, you could draw a perfect circle. And that's what's being shown in step 7. A lot of times, this round part of the eye will rest on or near the bottom eyelid. If you look into a mirror right now, if you've got a mirror with you, you can take a look and see, does your eye, touch that bottom line? Does it go below your bottom lid? Is it above? Now, we don't need this circle up here, but I just put it in to remind you that it is a perfect circle. We could use a tracer if you want. I've got templates to make a perfect circle. It's actually kind of cool. It's the one thing I can think of on our body that's actually mathematically perfect. Like bubbles, like planets. Like it's a perfect circle. It's kind of cool. And I'm going to put a pupil inside, which should go in the middle of the circle. And of course, this only works if you're looking head-on at someone. If you're looking at someone from the side, that pupil might look like it's not quite in the middle. We'll tackle that later. Now, the pupil can be different sizes. The iris will stay the same size, but your pupil can dilate or get bigger, or it can get smaller. In fact, let's just test that out really quick. Ahmad, Jasmine and Jacob. Will you guys hit those two lights? There's a light by my phone. There's another one over there. What I'd like you to do, folks, is look into your mirror. Stay there. Stay with that, the light switch. Turn the lights off. Look into your mirror. And look at your pupil. And on the count of 3, we're going to turn those lights on and watch your pupil get larger. 1, 2, 3. I meant to say smaller. I meant to say smaller. Let's do that one more time in case you missed it. Let's turn the lights off. Jacob, will you help me? Turn the lights off. Let your eye relax. Your pupil, you can look at the person next to you if you want. Right now your pupil is big. It's wanting more light. It's dilated. It's saying, hey, I need as much light as possible. When the lights come on, 1, 2, 3, go for it. Whoa! Whoa! It gets smaller. All right, settle down. Now, I don't know about you, but when I was a kid, I used to go into the bathroom where there's no windows, and I could get the lights totally off, totally on. And I would do that for a long time. I guess that was kind of weird. But I thought that was so cool to make my pupils do that. And what's happening is, it's the lines that are here. We'll put these in a second, but it's those muscles that are pulling or contracting that pupil. Your pupil is actually a hole. Okay, in case you're not aware, some say the eyes are the window to the soul. There's a hole in your eye. Yes, sir.
Do you got like models or?
I don't.
Okay.
No, thanks though. It is a hole that allows light to go in. In fact, if you're an optometrist, you can look into that hole and you can see. Anyway, I'm moving on. The next thing I'd like you to do is put a highlight on your eye. We have lights up high in here. If you look into your mirror, you should see some highlight, some little white speck, or maybe there's more than one. In here we have rectangular lights, so the light should be rectangular. When I just looked into the mirror, I saw one right about here. So I'm just very lightly, I don't want a hard outline, lightly putting in a contour line that lets me know where that highlight is. Again, don't make a dark outline. We don't want to outline that. We just want to know where it lives so that we can shade and color all around it. But let it stay white. That's going to make your eye look wet, because they are. So that little shine will really sell the realism. It'll make it look like it's a real wet eye. All right, now you may have more than one rectangle. Or if you're in the gymnasium, you might see circular lights. Or if you're outside, you're going to see one sun or one circle. All right, I'm going to go ahead and color this pupil in as black as I can. That's one thing we all have in common. I don't care about your gender, your race, your ethnicity. We all have a black circular pupil in the middle of our eye. Now, not the animal kingdom. Goats have a square one. Snakes and cats have like different shaped pupils, but pretty much I think still all black. And let's put in some little striations or lines in here. Now, some of you aren't going to see these so easily. You've got really dark eyes. They're dark brown. They're still there, especially if you flash a light in there. Or if you've got a phone with a little flashlight setting, you can make your eye glow a little bit and you'll see them. But really, these are more easily seen if you've got the hazel eyes, the blue, the green, the gray. Notice that these lines radiate out from the center. They are radial lines, like a sun's rays. They're not just going to be horizontal or vertical or something. They are going to, like a sun, come out from the center. At this point, you really need to take a look at your own eyes. I know some people have like a little band of color in the middle here, and that's what makes them really pop and shine. Some people, like me, I have a ring around the outer edge where it's darker. Some of you may have that. So I'm not going to, you could follow me and just draw this somebody's eye, but, take a look at your own and kind of see where are the colors built up. For some, it's right around the pupil. They're darker there. And it might be in a couple places. But again, avoid that highlight. But you should have some variety in there, unless they're totally dark, and in that case you're not going to see much, but having some light and dark will make them look like they glow a little bit. Then you can kind of look into them. The next thing I'd like to do is put a little bit of shading in the sclera. That might be a new word for you, but the whites of the eyes, they say don't shoot until you see the whites of their eyes. This is the sclera. And, well, the highlight should be white, but this is not exactly white. When you think about it, this is a big eyeball. It's a sphere. So what we want to do is give it a little bit of shading, especially in the corners here. If you were drawing a white sphere, well, without shading, it would be a white circle. We want to put a little bit in the corners. I'm also going to put a little bit up top here in anticipation of the eyelid, upper eyelid and eyelashes. They're going to create a shadow as well. But that will really make it start to look like it's a 3D eye, not just a flat, linear 2D eye. So we've added a few steps here that aren't in our 10-step directions. But you can see in step 9, they're just using a hatching technique, but they put in some shading. Let's get to the upper eyelid that they're showing here in step 10. So not everyone has this, but many of us will have a little extra line up here that kind of parallels this other line, the top of the eye. For some, it's broken, or usually when you get a bit older, you see some creases and wrinkles. It might be deeper in here. For some ethnicities, you hardly see any at all. I'm also going to do what's not showing so well here in steps 7 and 8 and 9, but add another line underneath, very lightly. Do this one lightly, just a lower lid. Really what I'm trying to create is that little shelf there that catches some light. If you were to look into the mirror, you would see right underneath your iris, there's like an area where hair doesn't generally grow. It's a little shelf. So let's move that up a little. And we're about half done with our 75% eye. Eyelashes are next. Let's talk about what not to do with eyelashes. Some of you folks think that they should just be all spread apart. No, they shouldn't touch each other. They should all be the same length, and it's going to look a little weird. What you need is a tapering line. Just like when we drew grass, when we did landscapes, one that goes from thick to thin. And just watch first, and then do. I'm going to do some eyelashes on the bottom, and I'm going to press hard, and then get that tapering line. And they pretty much come off of this bottom line here. So let me do a few more. If you're a fella, don't put too many, or you'll look like a lady. And these are all separate, but I usually go back over a second time so that some overlap and some cross over. And they're going all different directions. Notice that these lines are kind of going this way and that. So they change direction. They're sort of radial. Go ahead and try to put some in. Generally there's less on the lower lid, and we'll put them in a little heavier on the upper lid. Alright, I'm going to put some on the upper lid. Watch how these change direction. I want you to watch first and then do. Here we go. These are going to come off of this line here. I'm going to make some go this way. And these ones in front are actually going to come down and back up. They're kind of coming in front of the eye. And then I'm going to angle them over this way. I might have a couple long ones here. So some of them are sort of coming out at you. So the way to do that is to just make these short little ones. But again, notice how these change direction. Almost like they're radiating out from the pupil. And now you can see hopefully why that shadow underneath those is kind of important. Those eyelashes actually cast a little shadow. And lastly, we're going to put an eyebrow in here. This is sort of a right eye, so I like to lightly just find out where it lives first. Just put in the contours. And eyebrows are all different shapes. This is just somebody's. I've got a sister-in-law who has tattooed eyebrows. She has like no eyebrows, and she used to pencil them in, and now she just got them tattooed in. So. All right, I'm going to still use that tapering line, that one that goes from thick to thin. And I'm going to just watch for 1 sec. I'm going to make these kind of vertical. Watch as they change direction here. As they get over here, they start to lean over. Just keep watching. I'm almost done. And over here, I might even get some that come from the top down. That typically happens, so they're kind of overlapping here. And you want to try to avoid that, outline. We don't want to see that. It's just to help you figure out where those things live. But when you draw your eyes, eyelashes, eyelids, eyebrows, if this says eye, that's part of the eye. We're tackling it today, so. Now, I could take this a lot further, make it a lot better, but you guys have work to do. In fact, let me show you one more thing before I give you your assignment. This would be much easier with a wood pencil, and you could do a little bit of shading, understanding that under this eyebrow, there's going to be some shading. And by this eyelid. And underneath, don't add any shading to where that shelf is. Right here, leave that light because that's going to catch some light. But that usually gets darker until the cheekbones come in, thinking about the muscles underneath and the bone structure. Then it lightens up again. You might just put down a little bit of graphite and smudge it around just to make it look like a real eye. Not one of those anime eyes we looked at the other day. So we just drew one eye, but I need to see 5 total eyes. Well, you just did one, so now I just need 4 more eyes. Wait, there's 2 other little things I want you to do. Of these 4 eyes, I need to see 2 of them paired. That doesn't mean you have to do more. It just means that I want to see if you can do this, but go over about 1 eye width, because that's about the distance between, and try to make this whole thing backward. And see if you can make another eye, so that you have a pair of eyes. There's one more thing I'd like you to do. I want you to try one with color, probably colored pencil. And I'm not here to torture you, but you just use colored pencils. And I'm just asking for one. I mean, if you're really into it, you could do 2 pairs of colored eyes, and you'd be done. You'd have your 5. But I think it's important for you to just see, can you do it in color? You might surprise yourself. And you might want to see, how do I make my eye color? How do I make my skin color? So again, total, I need to see 5 eyes. You already have 1 done. Draw me 4 more, but at least 2 of them should be a match, and make 1 in color. Now, if I were you, it would do no good to draw this same eye 4 more times. Why not try a different gender than yourself, or different ethnicity? Why not try an eye with some mood? Eyes are expressive. Your eyes could be surprised. They could be angry. They could be inquisitive or nervous or looking a certain way. If you can capture mood with your eye, that's awesome. That's going to make your self-portrait better. By the way, over in the library, our books and magazines I've brought all to the front so you can go ahead and take a look at different types of eyes. Heck, you could draw on tiger eye if you want. But I need to see 5 eyes. Those 5 eyes will be worth 50 points. And I need to see 5 eyebrows and all the eyelashes and all that stuff. So, who's got questions? All right, I'm going to put on eye music. Yes, it's all eye music today. All right.